5 ways British and American college life is very different. Now, what I see from the movies and shows, I could tell the American school life is completely different to the UK school life. I went to university in the UK as well, so gonna be interested to see what he says about American college compared to our university. Decided to get into this. Before we do, appreciate if you guys can hit that subscribe button. Let's check this out.
Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to university, or as it's known in America, college.
Fair enough.
And
that's difference number one.
It must have been a long time ago since you were at university. Why didn't you make this video when you were still in your early 20s? And my answer to that is simple. YouTube didn't exist yet. And the other reason that it's taken me this long is that I am incredibly lazy, just like I was when I was a student. And when I was a student, I attended Lancaster University on the west coast of England. And I didn't know it yet, but it was there that 2 things happened that would prove very relevant to this video.
You know what? I actually never got my graduation photo. Never. I graduated, I think. But yo, it was during COVID. So they was like, oh, you don't have to go to the graduation party if you don't want to. And I was like, I won't go.
Number 1, I developed a pretty robust understanding of the sort of general university life in England. And number 2, long-time subscribers will know that it was at university that I met my now American wife. And if you yourself are not yet subscribed to this channel, do that now. In the meantime, I'm going to turn into an American college bro with a British accent and talk about all of the ways that British and American colleges are very different.
Terminology.
We cannot talk about this topic without first talking about some of the ways that university terms differ on either side of the pond.
Okay.
As I've already pointed out, institutions of higher education are usually known as university in the UK and college in America.
Yo, don't you guys in America, even though you call it college instead of university, right? Don't you also have some colleges called University of so-and-so? I'm pretty sure I've seen them before.
Said individual American colleges like, say, Harvard or Yale do contain the word university. And the reverse is sometimes true in Britain, as evidenced by the likes of Imperial College.
Oh, London. Really?
But those 2 terms get even more confusing when you consider the fact that firstly, in Britain, college is where we do our 6th form education between the ages of 16 and 18. But it doesn't end there, because Americans, what do you call the place on campus where students reside? This is usually known as dorms, short for dormitories. In Britain, that word is usually reserved for things like boarding school, where you've got a number of people in one room. In a university context.
No, we were, I think oh yeah, halls. Halls are ready. Yeah, we'll call them halls, whereas you guys call them dorms.
We might refer to that as halls of residence, or this is where it gets confusing, college. For instance, my dorm room was in Grisdale College within Lancaster University, which had several other colleges. We'll get onto those in a bit. In both countries, an academic year is broken up into sections, and those sections in this country, as in the United States, are known as semesters. However, in Britain, the term for this is term. And to this day, I often hear Americans talk about majoring. You know
what? I've always liked the word semester better than our term. It's obviously because I see it on movies and stuff, but I think it's just cool. It sounds cool.
In a subject. That's a term you don't really hear in the UK. Like Americans, one of our alternative terms might be to study a subject, or to do a subject. I did English. Or, this one's slightly more archaic these days, I read English.
Application process.
It's been almost a quarter of a century, but I can just about remember the application process for selecting the university that I wanted to go to. This was done through a body called...
Oh yeah, you have to get your UCAS points and UCAS, and then once you've got enough UCAS points from all the things you've done before university, you then can choose and pick the universities that will accept your UCAS points.
UCAS, and through UCAS you apply to 5 universities in the subject that you want to study. So in my case that was English language, and I applied to Wolverhampton, Edge Hill, Sheffield, York and Lancaster. York rejected me even though I got the grades they wanted, and Lancaster accepted me, so I know who I would side with in the War of the Roses. In the US, this application process is slightly different. I was talking to my wife about it this morning, and she said that you could apply to as many colleges as you want. The only thing with that is there is a fee attached, which seems to vary from university to university. I should note that this is also true in the UK. I didn't remember that part because my parents probably paid for it. But the point is, if you are really loaded, I suppose you improve your chances of getting approved. But the other thing...
Well, yeah, because you just apply for every single college.
She said to me that I don't think I knew until researching this video, was that you don't necessarily have to determine there and then what it is you want to study. Now, this will depend on the college, but at some, it turns out, you can just say, I haven't decided yet, or I'm undecided. And I'll wing it. I'll figure it out as the year progresses, which brings us on quite neatly to this.
Learning.
That's right, the academic portion of university. The academic side of things is vastly different from one country to the other. Firstly, there's the timeline. I finished and started my undergraduate degree in 3 years. And that's not because I'm some sort of...
Right, yeah, mine was 4 years, but I had a foundation year. So because I didn't have enough points to get to uni, well, no, I had enough points, but I had to do a foundation with my course, which is like a year before university to like build you up to it. So I did 4 years.
Child, although mum, if you want to confirm in the comments. It's also because that's just the norm for most non-scientific degrees in the UK. But from those American friends or girlfriends of young dashing Lawrence, I discovered that the norm in America is 4 years. And at first I couldn't wrap my head around why it took an extra year just to learn shit. And I suppose it's because in America, during that first year particularly, they take other classes, often general studies, that have nothing to do with the major. In fact, that major...
Oh, that's kind of like what I did. But we just called it a foundation year. I basically did all the subjects around my course. So my course was computer games programming, yeah? And in that foundation year, I did maths, some other stuff. I can't really remember now. I remember the maths though. Maybe, I don't know, but it was like building me up to it.
And often does change. In fact, according to most estimates, at least a third of US students change their major at least once. In the UK, there is less flexibility around this because, well, our choice of major is declared during the application phase and plays a big part in the university's decision to accept us. In Britain, for all 3 years, you focus on your major and maybe some minors as well. For example, I did linguistics and creative writing. And my grades looked a lot different to those of my wife, and not just because she tried harder. You see, while an A grade or a first is anything above 70% in the UK, American undergraduates must achieve 90% or above to attain the same grade. At the other end of the spectrum, anything below 60% will earn you a fail in the US, while British students can still pass with a score as low as 40. And
oh, damn. Yo, I nearly failed mine. Yo, I got so lucky, bro. Like, I went to university, but, like, I just didn't really go. I should have... You know what? My university was confusing, bro, because I even dropped out halfway through. I, like, dropped out for a whole year, but then went back. Because I was like, you know what? Let me give it a go. But, yo, I did it. Yeah, I nearly failed mine. Yo, if I was in the US, I definitely would have failed. I'm pretty sure I got a... I either got a 2-2 or a third. One of these. But I would have failed in the US.
Pass with a score as low as 40. And you might be thinking, ooh, Lawrence, does this mean that grades are earned differently in each country? And the answer to that is yes. While the final grade for a US undergraduate hangs on their grade point average, or GPA, the fate of British undergraduates is determined by their performance in end-of-year exams, as well as their dissertation. I'm also under the impression that in the UK, we have more lectures than American students might be used to.
Oh, really?
Which is why I slept through half of my degree. That said, it's not the only reason. Right, the other reason I found myself waking up at 2 PM was campus culture. That is all of the things that embody the social aspects of university life. In Britain, these centre around a couple of things, one of which is drinking. Now, bear in mind that in the UK, the legal drinking age is 18. So when you get to university, even in your first week, which is known as Freshers' Week, you not only get absolutely bladdered if you are the sort of person that drinks alcohol, but it's encouraged by the student union.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. Like, bro, this will be weird for you guys in America, but like when we go to college, like university college, the university college will literally set up their own party for you to drink with a bar and everything. Well, mine did. I will encourage it. Whereas like you guys, it's not legal to drink, so they definitely don't do that.
Everyone does it. It's legal. There's no problem. This I found to not be true in America, where of course students drink. But remember that half the students, the younger half, are underage. And under those circumstances, it's sort of hard to market your on-campus events and things like that as an opportunity to get drunk. Now, that might be a good thing, because I remember during my own Freshers Week, I got absolutely rat-arsed every night. And when I was at university, drinking seemed to fuel a lot of the inter-college rivalries. Like the Grisdale College people really didn't like the Pendle College people. And so if one person drank enough tequila and the wind blew in a weird direction, another person might have their trousers pulled down just because they happen to belong to different accommodation. Now, thankfully, you don't encounter that specific issue in the US very much, but I could be wrong because I never attended an American university, but there does seem to be a little bit of a rivalry that emerges between these Greek sororities and or fraternities. And students that belong to these will talk about Greek life, which is not a magazine about Athens, but it's sort of a collective term for all of these sororities and fraternities because their names all contain Greek letters. And this concept was all...
You know what? I just want to point out like a difference that I've seen as well. Like, is it actually true in America that you share a bedroom on like in the dorm? So like you'll have a room with 2 beds in and you'll share. Because I've been watching like on my other channels, which is in the description by the way, like horror stories where they've got like a roommate that is crazy. In the UK, you have your own room. So it's like an apartment block, and then you have like 4 different rooms, 6 different rooms, and you all have your own room. You don't share a room with someone.
Greek to me, because in Britain we don't have this. But these groups in US colleges get together and sort of talk about leadership skills and academia and other stuff that I've never yet been privy to because I've never attended one of these things. I just imagine that these are sort of future world leaders plotting to take over the world by turning everybody into a mouse. Sure, it's not quite as sinister as that, and I understand that members of these organisations are members for life. So it makes me wonder, do members meet up when they're like 60 years old and have a reunion? Or do you just do it for the first few years after graduation and then eventually lose touch like I did with all of my friends?
Yeah, yo, uni, like, unless you made a close friend, you're not really going to do a reunion. Yo, wait, no, you do. I'm pretty sure one of you guys went into my stream and told me that you had a, oh, what did you call it? Like a sorority meetup. Reunion. So you actually do, wait, that's actually cool, bro. Sports culture. Oh yeah, your sports.
In England, there were 2 ways that you could tell who was an American student. Number 1, how they pronounced everything. And number 2, they like to wear sweaters and or hoodies denoting the university from whence they came. And I think this is a big difference between British and American students. It's not that we can't buy regalia pointing out our university. It's just that it's not such a big deal to us. And it's not a case that Americans happen to be part of alumni programs like my wife is and that the British somehow aren't, because we are. I get these magazines, or at least I used to until they started making me feel old. It's that America puts much more of a national focus on university sports teams.
Yo, like I've spoken to you a lot about college sports and stuff, right? It would be so cool if we had that culture. Like I've seen it on movies and shows and these videos, and it looks so cool that you can go like have a good night with all your university friends, your college friends and stuff like that. Go there, support your college, like have a proper, like, I don't know. I was so disconnected, and I feel like most people are disconnected to their universities in the UK. We don't go to any sports games, nothing like that. All we do pretty much as a group is drink alcohol and party. That's it.
We do in Britain. So if there's a major event on, like the college basketball tournament that happens every March, people who graduated from the university that happen to make it to the final and sportsed harder than the other team get to cheer for that. We don't have anything equivalent to that in the UK except the Cambridge versus Oxford rowing. Cool. And most of us didn't go to Cambridge or Oxford, and most of us don't know how to row. So we have no real need to maintain this strong affiliation with our university once we leave.
Yeah.
And so in conclusion to a video...
You know what I do? I would love to have gone to like American college. instead of a UK university. And just experience it, bro. It would have been so cool, man.
Into which I put more effort
wish I
than
did
most
that.
of my university essays. I would say that
Because people from the UK do go to American colleges. Like, they do. They do. Loads of them do. But yo, I wish I did that, man.
Tells you a lot about how bad those essays were. If you've been to college or university...
But yo, really good video. Enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys think to it in the comment section. If you went to college, you can tell me some of your experiences there. Some crazy ones or interesting ones. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content. Live every single day on twitch.tv/L3WG. If you guys want to check me out there, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.